I'm Amanda McNulty with Making It Grow, and it's the holiday season. I'm here with my cousin Leda Jackson. We are going to make Charlotte Russe. I fuss all the time about all this genetic work that goes on these days because I have to learn new names for plants. But there's some really exciting things that happen because 50 years ago, my cousin Muff Dixon, who raised me, she lived across the street, gave up a baby for adoption, and we knew there was a red-headed baby girl in Charleston.
Me.
And there she is, Leda Jackson, our cousin.
It's the happiest Christmas story. Not the, as Uncle Gene said, not the Christmas story, but a very happy Christmas story.
And y'all had a little premonition, perhaps, that we had a connection.
I did. Well, we had always watched you and loved you, even when it was rolling in Webby Debby. And about 6 weeks before I found you, we were out working in the yard, and Edward twisted some flowering vine around my baseball cap, took a picture of me, sent it up to my daughter in New York at school, and said, "Your mom's gone McNulty." And sure enough, I was a McNulty.
Yes, you are. Oh, goodness. Anyway, I worry so that when people ask young people what Charlotte Russe is, they say it's a clothing store for women. But it really is an old-fashioned Christmas dessert that's listed in Charleston Receipts, the cookbook everybody uses. So I want to make sure that when I'm gone to my heavenly rest or wherever the garden is going to be, that people still know how to do it. So let's have a little tutorial.
Yes, because I don't know, we didn't make this dessert, so I'm very excited to learn how to do it.
And it really is fun, and you get to go get a good bottle of sherry, and that's always a cause for celebration. So the first thing is you need some good lady fingers, and Leda, I have made lady fingers, and it takes forever and makes a big mess. If you don't want to do that, as you well know, because you said in Charleston they're readily available, but you can find them in the
especially
stores.
during the holidays.
Okay, because this is a very Christmassy holiday dessert. So you can find lady fingers if you don't want to go to the trouble, and it is a good bit of trouble, but you can make them and freeze them, and then you've got them whenever you need them. So I'm going to get these out of the way, and we will start with our preparations. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can make this fancy stove work. And
do you want me to go ahead and soak these, Amanda?
Yeah, that'd be great.
How hard is it to make the lady fingers?
It's just time consuming, and the hardest thing is getting the parchment paper properly prepared. And then you gotta, whip eggs and whip egg whites.
So it's really egg whites, a little flour and sugar.
And egg yolks too.
Egg yolks too.
Knox gelatin is what makes Jello, but it comes in an orange box, and it's plain gelatin. So I have a 1/4 cup of milk here, and I'm going to sprinkle 1 envelope of Knox unflavored gelatin in that, and turn the stove on and hope it'll stay on. And then we will, there we go. Let's put 1 whole pint of heavy whipping cream in here.
And you always told me you have to be really careful with that.
Well, you don't want to over whip the cream because it'll turn to butter. And then I'm going to put almost all of 2/3 cup. I'm going to keep a little bit of this granulated sugar out for the egg whites when we get to them. Okay, so now I'm going to start making noise. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
This is pretty noisy. All right, Leda, this is nicely dissolved, and this is pretty stiff, but not too stiff. Okay, I'm going to slowly pour in this milk with the dissolved gelatin. And then if you will hand me that wonderful bottle of sherry.
Yes.
And that glass, I'll kind of glug it. I usually put about 1/2 cup. So I think that's about what I'm going to go for. There we go. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give it just a little bit more. Alrighty. Well, I would like for it to be stiffer, but I think the lights made it, the cream a little bit less
warm.
likely to get warm. But it's all will be fine because the gelatin will make it all set up. So let's now do the egg whites.
Okay.
And they don't care if it's hot.
Amanda, have you ever heard of a version, because my mother's friend, Retta Lowndes, it was either Retta or, Jenny Garrard, made it with like a sherry-based custard at the bottom. Are there different versions?
There was one called Rock Cream that my grandmother and Aunt Liza.
I have that recipe.
Do you?
I
Well,
have
you have to
not.
give it to me.
I have not yet attempted it. As supposedly, it's very difficult.
Okay. Well, as you see, the cream isn't quite as whipped as I'd like for it to be, but it'll be fine. Let me tell people that if they don't know, you have to, when you do egg whites, you have to be really, really, really careful not to have any contamination. No egg yolk, no grease, no nothing. So I have 5 egg whites from pasteurized eggs, and a perfectly clean bowl and beater. So there'll be no contamination. And I've got just a little bit of sugar left, and I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, because that's supposed to help the egg whites set up. Okay, so let's go. Ready again? All right.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't beat these too much, to tell you the truth. So unlike the cream, which didn't want to beat enough, I think these are ready.
Perfect.
So now we're going to mix the two together. How does that
Fold them in gently.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And of course, I left my great big giant bowl at home, but I think that this is going to work just fine. So let's see where my scoop is, and we will pour this whipping cream into here. And it's got that nice sugar and sherry in it. Okay, and then we are going to fold gently these in.
So should you do this the evening before?
Yes, and it keeps well for several days.
It
If you
did.
got- yeah.
We enjoyed it long
did
after
you? Okay.
Thanksgiving.
All right,
Yes.
well, I think you've got this bowl ready. Let's get this big clunky thing out of the way. Ugh, it's like lifting weights. But it's nice to have a good mix master.
And this was Muff's bowl.
Yes, it was. Yes, this was one that I gave to your mother because I loved her so much.
And
my
you, and
first
you
child.
gave me one, and you gave me one for my first birthday with you.
And
which was
my
lovely.
first child is named for her, Eliza. So we're just going to pour that in.
Oh boy, I wish I'd been named Eliza. It would have been a whole heck of a lot easier than Leda.
All righty. Now we have a completed Charlotte Russe. And this is a nice big bowl. This would be enough for, I would think, about 8 people because they've had a big dinner. And this is very light and airy.
Do we have to wait
Well,
a whole night?
Well, let's put this one in, but actually I have one that's ready, and I think we could have a taste if you'd like to.
I'd love that.
Well, Leda, once a year we polish the silver, and we even have an iron napkin.
I love those iron napkins.
A
Edward
red-
was so sweet to bring them to my Thanksgiving table.
Well, let's dig in. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
And the nice thing, as I said, is no matter how much turkey and all the wonderful stuff you had, there's always room for Charlotte Russe.
It's a nice light dessert with sherry, and Charlestonians love sherry in their desserts. And you made it seem so simple.